The alarm rang at 5:30 in the morning. The sound filled the small house. A young black girl opened her eyes slowly. Her name was Aaliyah. Today was not a normal day. Today was exam day. She sat up on her bed and took a deep breath. Her hands were shaking a little. This exam could change her whole life. If she passed, she could get a full scholarship. If she failed, there would be no second chance. Aaliyah looked at the ceiling and whispered, "Please God, just help me today." She got out of bed and washed her face. The mirror showed dark circles under her eyes. She had studied all night. Books were still open on the floor. Notes were taped to the wall. She did everything she could. Her mother was already awake in the kitchen. "You ready?" her mother asked softly. Aaliyah nodded. "Yes, Ma." Her mother looked at her with tired eyes but a strong smile. "You worked hard. Just do your best." Aaliyah picked up her bag and stepped outside. The morning air was cold. The sky was still gray. Her school was only 15 minutes away by foot. As she walked, she kept repeating answers in her head. Dates, numbers, words. Everything felt heavy. Her phone buzzed. A message from her friend. "Don't be late. Doors close at 8 sharp." Aaliyah checked the time. 7:42 a.m. Her steps got faster. Then she heard a sound. A weak sound. "Help!" She stopped. At first, she thought she imagined it. People often imagined things when they were nervous. She took 2 more steps. "Please help." She turned around. Across the street, near a broken fence, an old man was sitting on the ground. His back was against the wall. His face was pale. His hands were shaking. Aaliyah's heart started beating fast. People walked past him. Some looked. Most didn't stop. Aaliyah looked at the time again. 7:45 a.m. If she stopped, she would be late. If she was late, she would miss the exam. If she missed the exam, she would lose her future. She stood there frozen. The old man tried to stand up, but he fell again. His breathing was heavy. His eyes met hers. "Please," he said again. Aaliyah swallowed hard. She looked toward the school building in the distance. She could almost see the doors. She imagined herself sitting in the exam room. She imagined her mother smiling after she passed. Then she looked back at the man. No one else was helping him. Her hands started to shake more. "This is not my problem," a voice in her head said. "You work too hard for this." But another voice spoke louder. "If you walk away, you will never forget this." Aaliyah stepped closer. "Sir," she said softly, "are you okay?" The man shook his head. "I can't breathe," he whispered. Aaliyah dropped her bag on the ground. She knelt beside him. She remembered something from first aid class at school. She helped him sit better. She told him to breathe slowly. She pulled out her phone and called for an ambulance. Her phone buzzed again. 7:49 a.m. The man held her wrist. "Don't go," he said. "Please." Tears filled Aaliyah's eyes. "I have an exam," she whispered. "I can't be late." The man looked at her with pain and fear. "I know," he said, "but I might not make it." Aaliyah closed her eyes. She saw her future breaking into pieces. She saw the scholarship letter disappearing. She saw her mother's face. Then she opened her eyes. She stayed. The ambulance arrived minutes later. Paramedics rushed in. They lifted the man onto a stretcher. One of them nodded at Aaliyah. "You did the right thing," he said. Aaliyah didn't answer. She looked at the time. 8:03 a.m. Her heart sank. She picked up her bag and ran to school. Her legs felt weak. Her breath was heavy. When she reached the building, the doors were closed. She knocked. A teacher opened the door just a little. "You're late," the teacher said. "I helped someone," Aaliyah said, her voice breaking. "He was dying." The teacher shook her head. "Rules are rules." The door closed. Aaliyah stood there, staring at the ground. Everything was silent. She didn't know it yet. That old man was not just any man. She didn't know that skipping this exam would change her life forever. And she had no idea that one day soon, the sound of a helicopter would fill her yard. Aaliyah did not move for a long time. She stood outside the school doors, holding her bag, staring at the ground. Students passed her, laughing and talking about the exam. Some looked at her. Some whispered. No one stopped. Her hands felt cold. Her future felt gone. The bell rang inside the building. That sound hit her chest like a hammer. It was over. There was no second chance. No extra time. No explanation. Aaliyah slowly turned away. Every step felt heavy. She walked home alone. The streets felt longer than usual. Cars passed by, but everything sounded far away. Her mind kept replaying the same moment again and again. If I had walked away, if I had ignored him, if I had chosen myself. Her phone buzzed. A message from her friend. Where are you? The test was hard. Aaliyah did not reply. When she reached home, her mother was sitting at the table. She looked up when the door opened. You done already? Her mother asked. Aaliyah dropped her bag. I missed it, she said. Her mother froze. What do you mean missed it? Aaliyah told her everything. The old man. The ambulance. The closed doors. Her mother listened quietly. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she sighed. You did a good thing, her mother said softly. But the world is not always kind to good people. That night, Aaliyah could not sleep. She stared at the ceiling again, just like the night before. But this time, there was no hope. Only questions. Was I wrong? Did I ruin my life? 3 days passed. No calls. No messages. No second chance. The school sent an email. Due to policy, the exam cannot be retaken. That was it. The scholarship was gone. Aaliyah stopped studying. She stopped talking much. She started working extra hours at a small grocery store after school. Her dreams slowly felt smaller. Then, one afternoon, something strange happened. A black car stopped outside her house. 2 men stepped out. They wore dark suits, clean shoes, no smiles. Aaliyah watched from the window. Her heart started racing. People like that never came to her street. There was a knock on the door. Her mother opened it. Is Aaliyah here? One of the men asked. Aaliyah stepped forward slowly. Yes, that's me. The man looked at her carefully. You helped an old man 3 days ago, he said. Near the school. Aaliyah felt her throat tighten. Yes, she said. I did. The man nodded. He wants to thank you. Aaliyah's mind went blank. Who is he? She asked. The man did not answer. He handed her a card. Be ready, he said. Someone will come for you soon. Then they left. The car drove away. Aaliyah stood in the doorway, holding the card, confused and scared. Her mother looked at her. Did you do something wrong? She asked. Aaliyah shook her head. I don't know, she said. That night, Aaliyah barely slept again. Her mind was full of questions. Who were those men? Why now? What does he want from me? The next morning, the sky was clear. Too clear. Aaliyah stepped outside to take out the trash. Then she heard it. A loud sound. A deep sound. The ground started to shake. Neighbors came out of their houses. Kids pointed to the sky. Phones came out. Aaliyah looked up. A helicopter was flying low. Very low. It circled her house once. Then twice. Her heart started pounding. It slowly came down closer and closer until it landed right at her yard. Dust filled the air. The noise was so loud, she had to cover her ears. The door of the helicopter opened, and a familiar figure stepped out. The old man. Clean suit. Strong walk. Calm smile. Aaliyah's mouth fell open. He looked straight at her and said, Because you chose me, I chose you. And in that moment, Aaliyah knew. Missing that exam was only the beginning. The helicopter blades slowed down. The loud noise faded into silence. Dust settled slowly over the small yard. Aaliyah stood frozen near the door, her hands shaking. Her neighbors whispered behind her. Some held phones high. Some stood in shock. This kind of thing never happened on her street. Ever. The helicopter door opened. A man stepped out. He was tall, calm, dressed in a dark suit that looked expensive but simple. His hair was gray, but his back was straight. His eyes were sharp. Aaliyah's heart skipped a beat. It was the same old man. The man she helped. The man who almost died. The man she missed her exam for. He walked toward her slowly. Aaliyah, he said. Her name sounded strange coming from his mouth. Yes, she answered quietly. He smiled. You probably have many questions, he said. But first, thank you. He reached out his hand. Aaliyah hesitated. Then she shook it. His grip was warm, strong. I didn't do it for thanks, she said. I just couldn't leave you. The man nodded. That is why I am here. People around them leaned closer, trying to hear. One of the men in suits stepped forward and gently asked the crowd to move back. The old man looked at Aaliyah again. "May I sit?" he asked. She pointed to a small plastic chair near the door. He sat like he belonged there. Aaliyah still stood. "Sit," he said kindly. She sat across from him. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then he said, "My name is Mr. Hale." Aaliyah nodded. "You saved my life," Mr. Hale continued. "That morning, my heart stopped for almost 1 minute." Aaliyah's eyes widened. "If you had walked away," he said, "I would not be here." Aaliyah swallowed hard. "I just did what anyone should do," she said. Mr. Hale smiled gently. "No," he said, "most people walk past me." Those words stayed in the air. Mr. Hale leaned forward. "I asked my team to find you," he said. "They told me what it cost you." Aaliyah's chest tightened. "You missed your exam," he said. "You lost your scholarship." She nodded. "I know," she said quietly. "Do you regret it?" he asked. Aaliyah looked down at her hands. For a second, she didn't answer. Then she looked up. "No," she said. "It hurts, but I don't regret it." Mr. Hale's eyes softened. "That answer," he said, "is worth more than money." Aaliyah frowned. "What do you mean?" Mr. Hale stood up. He looked around her small yard. The old fence, the cracked steps, the tiny house. Then he looked back at her. "I did not come here just to say thank you," he said. Aaliyah's heart started racing again. "I came because people like you are rare," he continued. "And the world does not protect people like you enough." One of the men in suits handed him a folder. Mr. Hale took it, but did not open it yet. "Before I explain," he said, "I want you to understand something." Aaliyah listened closely. "That morning," he said, "you had a choice." He raised one finger. "You could choose your future," then another finger, "or you could choose a stranger." Aaliyah nodded slowly. "You chose humanity," he said, "and that choice followed you here." Aaliyah's voice trembled. "Sir, I don't understand why you're doing all this," she said. Mr. Hale smiled again, but this time it was serious. "Because success without character is empty," he said. "And character like yours deserves opportunity." The neighbors gasped softly. Aaliyah felt dizzy. Then Mr. Hale finally opened the folder. Inside were papers. He placed them on the small table between them. Aaliyah looked down. Her name was written on the top. "What is this?" she asked. Mr. Hale looked her straight in the eyes. "This," he said, "is a second chance." Aaliyah's breath caught. "But this is only the beginning," he added. She looked up confused. Mr. Hale stood tall. "Tomorrow," he said, "you will come with me." Aaliyah's eyes widened. "Where?" she asked. He smiled. "To see how big the world really is." The helicopter engines started again. The wind lifted dust into the air. Mr. Hale turned toward it, then stopped. He looked back at Aaliyah and said, "Missing that exam was not the end of your story." He paused. "It was the moment your real test began." And as the helicopter lifted off, Aaliyah stood there knowing. Her life was about to change in ways she could never imagine. Agar Cheho. Next Maine, Aaliyah did not sleep that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard the sound of the helicopter again. She saw Mr. Hale's calm face. She felt the weight of his words. A second chance. The sun had barely risen when a black car stopped outside her house again. This time, she was ready. She wore her cleanest clothes. Simple jeans, a plain shirt, no jewelry, no muck-up, just herself. Her mother hugged her tightly. "Be strong," her mother whispered, "and never forget who you are." Aaliyah nodded. The car drove away from her street. Small houses disappeared. Broken sidewalks turned into smooth roads. Old stores turned into tall buildings. Aaliyah pressed her face lightly against the window. She felt like she was leaving one world and entering another. The car stopped at a private airfield. A small jet waited on the runway. Aaliyah had never been this close to a plane before. Mr. Hale stood near the stairs, calm as always. "You on time?" he said with a small smile. "I didn't want to be late again," Aaliyah replied. He nodded, understanding more than she said. Inside the jet, everything was quiet and clean. Soft seats, warm lights, no noise. Aaliyah sat carefully, afraid to touch anything. As the plane lifted into the sky, her stomach turned. She looked out the window. Her city became small, then smaller. "So, Mr. Hale said, breaking the silence. Tell me about yourself. Aaliyah hesitated. There's not much, she said. I study. I work. I help my mom. Mr. Hale listened closely. No dreams? He asked. Aaliyah looked down. I had one, she said, but I missed it. Mr. Hale did not correct her. Instead, he asked, why did you stop for me that day? Aaliyah thought for a moment. Because no one else did, she said. Mr. Hale smiled softly. The jet landed in a different city. A big city. Tall buildings touched the sky. Glass everywhere. Cars moved like ants below. Aaliyah felt small. A driver opened the door for her. They drove to a large building with shining doors. Inside, everything echoed. People wore sharp clothes. They walked fast. They talked in low voices. Some looked at Aaliyah. Some didn't. Aaliyah felt eyes on her skin. She followed Mr. Hale into an elevator. The doors closed. Aaliyah's heart beat faster. The elevator stopped at the top floor. The doors opened to a wide office with walls of glass. This was his world. Mr. Hale walked to the window. This, he said, is where decisions are made. Aaliyah stood near the door, unsure. You don't have to stand there, he said kindly. Cool me. She walked forward slowly. People think power is loud, Mr. Hale said, but real power is quiet. He turned to her. I brought you here to show you what is possible, he said, but also to test you. Aaliyah looked confused. Test me? She asked. Yes, he replied, because money can open doors, but can also change people. He handed her a badge. Today, he said, you will walk through this building. Aaliyah took it. Listen, watch, learn, he continued, and tell me what you see. Aaliyah walked through the halls. She saw meetings, big screens, serious faces, fast decisions. But she also saw something else. People who did not smile. People who did not listen. People who talked over others. When she returned, Mr. Hale waited. Well, he asked. Aaliyah took a breath. It's powerful, she said, but it feels lonely. Mr. Hale laughed quietly. That, he said, is an honest answer. He sat down. Aaliyah, he said, I can give you education. I can give you money. I can give you opportunity. Aaliyah listened closely. But first, he said, you must decide something. Her heart pounded. Are you ready to step into this world, he asked, without losing the heart that brought you here? Aaliyah looked at the city below. She thought about her street, her mother, the old man on the ground. She turned back to Mr. Hale. Yes, she said, but only if I can stay myself. Mr. Hale smiled. Then, he said, you may be ready. And Aaliyah knew this was not about exams anymore. This was about who she would become. Aaliyah sat quietly in the large office. The city stretched below her like a moving picture. Cars looked small. People looked smaller. Mr. Hale stood near his desk, reading something on his tablet. He looked calm like he always did, like nothing in this room could surprise him. But Aaliyah's heart was racing. She had never been in a place like this before. Mr. Hale finally looked up. You remind me of someone, he said. Aaliyah looked at him. Who, she asked. Myself, he replied, before the world hardened me. He walked toward her and sat across the table. You missed your exam, he said again. That system failed you. Aaliyah lowered her eyes. I knew the rules, she said. I just chose differently. Mr. Hale nodded slowly. And that choice, he said, told me everything I needed to know. He tapped the table lightly. I can fix what you lost, he said. Aaliyah's breath caught. Fix, she repeated. Yes, he said. I can place you in a top school. Full tuition. No debt. Aaliyah's hands tightened in her lap. This was everything she ever wanted. But Mr. Hale was not finished. I can also offer you a paid position in my company, he continued. Not later. Now. Aaliyah's mind felt dizzy. I don't understand, she said. Why me? Mr. Hale leaned forward. Because intelligence can be taught, he said. But integrity cannot. He slid a folder across the table. Aaliyah opened it slowly. Inside were papers with her name printed neatly. School she had only seen online. Numbers so big they scared her. Her life, written in ink. You don't need to decide today, Mr. Hale said. But you do need to understand the cost. Aaliyah looked up. What cost? She asked. Mr. Hale's voice grew serious. Once you enter this world, he said, People will watch you. He paused. They will question you, doubt you, test you. Aaliyah felt a familiar feeling. She had felt it her whole life. Some will say you didn't earn it, he continued. They will say you were lucky. Aaliyah closed the folder. I'm used to that, she said quietly. Mr. Hale smiled slightly. But this time, he said, you must decide who you will be when no one is kind. He stood up and walked toward the window. Money can protect you, he said, but it can also trap you. He turned back to her. I don't want to buy your loyalty, he said. I want to invest in your growth. Aaliyah stood up slowly. I don't want favors, she said. I want a fair chance. Mr. Hale nodded. That is exactly what this is, he said. He took out one last paper. There is one condition, he said. Aaliyah's heart skipped. Tell me, she said. You must promise, he said, that when you rise, you will reach back. Aaliyah thought about her mother, her street, the people who were never chosen. I promise, she said without hesitation. Mr. Hale smiled wide for the first time. Then welcome, he said, to your second beginning. Aaliyah signed the paper. The pen felt heavy in her hand. As the ink dried, she felt something change inside her. Not relief. Responsibility. Mr. Hale shook her hand. This is not the end of your struggle, he said. It is the start of a bigger one. Aaliyah nodded. I'm ready, she said. Mr. Hale opened the door. Good, he replied. Because tomorrow, the world will test you again. As Aaliyah stepped out of the office, she took one last look at the city. She knew something now. Missing that exam did not break her life. It rebuilt it. But she also knew the higher you rise, the harder the fall. And her real challenge was still waiting. The news spread faster than Aaliyah expected. By the time she walked into her new school, people already knew her name. Not because of her grades, not because of her skills, but because of the story. The girl who missed her exam. The girl who got help from a billionaire. Whispers followed her down the hallway. Some students stared. Some smiled. Some laughed. Aaliyah kept her head high. She told herself, I belong here. But it was not easy. In her first class, the teacher paused when she entered. This is Aaliyah, the teacher said. She'll be joining us. A few students clapped. Most did not. During group work, no one chose her. At lunch, she sat alone. She heard someone say, she didn't earn it. Another voice added, she just got lucky. Aaliyah felt the words sink into her chest. That night, she called her mother. I feel like I don't belong, Aaliyah admitted. Her mother's voice was calm. You didn't walk away from that man, she said. So don't walk away from yourself. Aaliyah wiped her tears. The next day, she worked harder. She arrived early. She stayed late. She asked questions. She listened more than she spoke. Slowly, things began to change. In class discussions, her answers were sharp and thoughtful. In group projects, she did more than her share. Some students noticed. Some still doubted. One afternoon, a professor stopped her after class. You think differently, he said. Where did you learn that? Aaliyah smiled. From life, she said. Weeks passed. Then came the big test. The kind of test that no money could pass for her. A major presentation. Everyone had to present in front of the class. Aaliyah's hand shook as she stood at the front. She remembered the exam she missed. The door that closed. She took a deep breath. She began to speak. Her voice was calm. Her words were clear. She talked about leadership, about responsibility, about choosing people over profit. The room grew quiet. When she finished, no one laughed. They clapped, even the ones who doubted her. After class, a student approached her. I was wrong about you, he said. You earned this. Aaliyah nodded. That means a lot, she replied. Later that week, Mr. Hale invited her to a meeting. The room was full of executives, important faces, serious voices. Aaliyah felt nervous. Mr. Hale looked at her. Tell them what you see, he said. Aaliyah spoke honestly. She talked about people being ignored, about systems that moved too fast, about value beyond numbers. The room was silent. Then one man nodded. Another took notes. After the meeting, Mr. Hale smiled. They listened, he said. Because you spoke truth, Aaliyah replied. Mr. Hale nodded. Exactly. That night, Aaliyah walked outside her new apartment. The city lights were bright, but she thought about home, her street, her neighbors, her mother. She knew success meant nothing if she forgot where she came from. She started tutoring kids from her old neighborhood on weekends. She shared her story. Do the right thing, she told them, even when it costs you. One day her old school called. They wanted her to speak. The same halls that once closed their doors now opened them wide. Aaliyah stood on the stage. She looked at the students. I missed an exam, she said, but I passed the test of character. The room was quiet. As she walked out, she felt something new, not fear, confidence. She knew now. She didn't rise because of luck. She rose because she stood firm, and the world could no longer ignore her. But one final chapter still remained. One final lesson. One final choice. Years passed. Not fast. Not easy. But they passed. Aaliyah stood on a stage wearing a black graduation gown. The lights were bright. The room was full. Her name was called, and she walked forward with steady steps. She took her diploma and smiled. In the crowd, her mother wiped her eyes. This moment felt unreal. After the ceremony, Aaliyah stepped outside. The air was warm. The sky was clear. She closed her eyes for a second and breathed. She remembered the school door that once closed on her. She remembered the old man on the ground. She remembered choosing compassion over fear. Mr. Hale stood a few steps away, clapping quietly. You did it, he said. We did it, Aaliyah replied. Life moved forward. Aaliyah did not forget her promise. She worked hard, but she also reached back. She helped students who were overlooked. She created programs for kids who felt invisible. Her story spread, but she stayed humble. One afternoon, Aaliyah received a letter. It was from her old school. They wanted to honor her. The same place that once turned her away. Aaliyah hesitated. Then she said yes. On the day of the event, she walked through the same doors again. This time they stayed open. The principal greeted her with a smile. We are proud of you, he said. Aaliyah nodded politely. But pride was not what she came for. She stood on the stage, facing young faces full of pressure and fear. I missed an exam here, she said. The room grew quiet. I thought my life was over, she continued. But I learned something important. She paused. Tests do not define your worth. Your choices do. Some students nodded. Some wiped tears. After the speech, a young girl approached her. I'm scared, the girl said. What if I fail? Aaliyah knelt beside her. Failing is not the end, she said. Giving up is. As Aaliyah left the building, she looked back once. The past no longer hurt. It taught her. Months later, Aaliyah visited her old neighborhood. Kids ran toward her. You came back, they shouted. She smiled. Of course, she said. This is home. She walked past the broken fence. The same spot where everything changed. She stopped. A soft wind moved through the street. Then she heard it. A familiar sound. A helicopter. It did not land this time. It passed overhead, moving forward. Aaliyah watched it disappear into the sky. She smiled. Later that evening, she sat with her mother on the porch. You always knew this would happen, Aaliyah said. Her mother laughed softly. No, she said. I just knew you would choose right. Aaliyah looked at the stars. She thought about that one morning. The choice. The cost. The reward. She understood something clearly now. Success is not about money. It is not about titles. It is about who you become when no one is watching. Aaliyah stood up. She looked toward the street. People walked by. Some struggling. Some hoping. She knew her story was not just hers anymore. It belonged to anyone who ever had to choose between doing right and doing easy. And as the night grew quiet, Aaliyah whispered softly, I missed one exam, but I passed life's test. The camera slowly fades out. Text appears on the screen. Kindness always finds its way back. The end.